This is Brother Teacher. How are you making it through this pandemic that they call COVID 19 or the coronavirus? This particular period in all of our lives is one of epic proportion. It has never occurred, this particular situation, in my lifetime before. And I am certain that it is the first time for many of you that are watching this video right now to experience something such as this so called pandemic, whereby our very economy has been destabilized to some degree, to a great degree for many, depending on who you are and what station of life you may find yourself. For the working poor, it is devastating. For the small business owner, entrepreneur, such as myself, even, it is devastating. There have been many businesses that have gone out of business, many mom and pop stores, many mom and pop restaurants closed for business, some never to reopen ever again. Some perhaps if they receive the SBA loans or the grants or what have you, there may be some light at the end of the tunnel for them. But for most that have closed their doors, it probably will never open. And then, not to mention the educational system. Children out of school, they're out of public school, they're out of private school, they're out of college, they're out of technical college, and so forth, in hopes originally that they were going to be back in the next semester or the next quarter or what have you. But it doesn't seem as though it's going to work out that way. I've heard word through numerous sources that school for the whole year is going to be out for the most part, if not longer. Children are doing their work, their homework online, virtually. They're receiving packets of schoolwork in the mail. Is this going to change graduation? Yes, it already has. Is it going to change prom? Yes, it already has. Is it going to change how they try to readapt to school once they go back to school? I hate to say this, not being the devil's advocate, if they ever get back to school. Because this could have some very, very extenuating results. This is the beginning of something that's going to be worse, I believe. So, I would like to know how you are doing. Has this devastated you as an individual? Did you lose your job? Have you been laid off, maybe temporarily? Have you been placed on a part-time employment situation? Are you expecting and looking for unemployment benefits right now? Are you and have you applied, for those of you that own your own business or a small business, have you applied for any government grants and such, as they have said, to the stimulus package? How well are you faring through this coronavirus? Also, medically speaking, do you have a friend or a relative that has been touched physically by the coronavirus, if not even died as a result thereof? Are you a survivor of the virus? Or do you currently have it? What's really going on? I pray that we all make it through this ordeal as safe and secure as possible. It is unfortunate that there have been some that have not, economically and even with their lives. People have suffered. So, what are you doing about the coronavirus? Are you wearing a mask and gloves, washing your hands numerous times throughout the day? Are you keeping up with the social distancing? Or even, do you think it even matters, the social distancing? Do you believe that this so-called virus has some other implications? Do you believe that there's something else behind this? Do you believe that there is a conspiracy? Do you believe that there's an agenda behind this? Let me tell you this before I close again. If we had a real live pandemic, why don't we have the military in the street and the police departments in the streets and the sheriffs in the streets enforcing that people wear protective gear, masks, gloves, and what have you, and also enforcing that people stay in their homes? Why don't we see that? I mean, this is usually the result when there's actually a national emergency, a pandemic as such. But you have people walking the streets, still in some areas socializing in groups, small groups, medium groups, just depends on where you find yourself in your city. Certain communities they enforce, other communities they don't enforce that so-called rule and or law. And how is it that those people that are driving across the roadways don't have checkpoints and pulled over? I'm going to say this again. I sort of lost my thought, but I'm going to say this again, and I've said it before. If we actually were going through a so-called national or world pandemic, there would be more noise than we are experiencing right now. There would be more casualties than we have already experienced. It just simply would be. You would hear sirens going off ever so often throughout the day in your various cities. You would see people being pulled over by the police and even the military standing by if we had a national pandemic or an international pandemic. The numbers just simply don't match up. I think the news media is doing a great job at causing fear in the people. A great job at causing even paranoia in some of the people. But what I also have observed is that a lot of the people are not buying it. Simply not buying it. Now you can process that yourself as to why. But listen, however you have been affected, if in a negative way, please leave it in the comment section below. I would love to hear it, what your take is and what your experience is. And if you have not been affected, let me know if you're just going through life, even though it might be inconvenient, let me know if you're going through life relatively smooth and pretty much the same as you have before. Just a little bit inconvenienced as a result thereof. We would all like to know. Let's share. Let's get together. Let's talk about it. Is this something that we should really be alarmed about? Or is it just some more government propaganda because there's an agenda that's sitting in the shadows somewhere that's being carried out? This is Brother Teacher. I'm out.